the Halal Travel Podcast.
Assalamualaikum everyone and welcome to another episode of the Halal Travel Podcast. I'm Adri, taking you on the journey of season 6 where we will be talking all about self-growth. So on today's topic of what does it mean to be fit, I have a special guest today with me. He is a full-time student but a part-time coach. So he juggles between his studies and also his career in coaching. So today I have none other than Mr. Kishon with me. Welcome, Kishon. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Adri. Thank you so much for having me here.
So if you guys didn't know, me and Kishon actually have we have known each other since 2016, and when I came through St. Hildas for my DSA. So ever since then, we've been more like a mentorship, like teammates, and we became like really, really good friends. Yeah. So Kishon, why don't you tell us more about how you became a coach, or like what made you want to become a coach?
Okay, so I started playing hockey when I was 13.
Okay.
And then playing for about 4 years after that. When I was 17, I picked up some part-time coaching from my school coach. Didn't have a cert back then, but then it kind of intrigued me to handle a bunch of teenagers. Firstly, having the patience level, but also the challenges you face with having new students doing it for the first time, teaching them and watching them grow. So I got to say two of my coaches inspired me to take up the coaching course. And after that, one thing led to another. I started doing some part-time coaching, handling kids. And then I went on to become assistant coach for my secondary school.
Oh, that's very nice. It's very interesting. I know that Kishon is a really, really patient coach, I would say, because he also helps out with the Temasek Poly men's team as well, whenever our coach isn't around. So I'm gonna stop blabbering about it and go on to our very first question, which is, for now I'm quite familiar with like the sporting world, but for our listeners out there, right, for those who want to start becoming fit, how do you define the concept of fitness?
So firstly, the concept of fitness is basically having the ability to perform activities, daily activities. That's the first.
Like generic activities?
Yeah, generic activities. Even walking to work, walking back home, stuff like that. And then after that, it comes to endurance, whether you can endure your daily activities. And then after that, people take up fitness to release stress. Research has shown that it's a high option when you want to release your stress and everything like that. And the thing about fitness is it goes beyond lifting weights or running fast or running as long as you want. It's about enjoying what you do. And it can be sports, it can be gym, but it's all about enjoying what you do at the end of the day.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so like during our trainings and all that, especially like back in secondary school when we had our fitness, it can be like very daunting, especially like all those the fitness tests and all that, the things that we did. It wasn't as enjoyable. It was more like, I don't want to do it lah. Yeah.
But I think if you realize something, we knew we were going to get hard fitness or something tough that day, but we will still end up doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not because we didn't have any choice. I mean, we could call in sick, or injured.
Right.
But the reason why I think we did it is because of the fact that we enjoyed the sport. But if I were to tell you to wake up in the morning every day and run 5 or 10 km, I don't think we would enjoy doing that. Am I right?
Yeah.
But we went for every training knowing that at the end of that 3 hours of training, we're going to feel like we died.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true.
And I think it comes to the fact that if you really enjoy doing something, you will go all out to do it without any excuses.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very interesting, especially from us, because we suffered quite a lot for our fitness tests. So now speaking of this, I actually wonder like what is the best physique? So like the stigma goes around like, oh, if you're fit you have to have a nice body and all that stuff. But I've watched this Korean show called The Physical 100, and basically it's a bunch of people who with different body sizes and different types of athletics. They come and compete with like various types of competitions and games, and the winner of the Korean 100 is actually a if I'm not wrong, he is a sports trainer, if I'm not wrong, and he went up against a bodybuilder. Yeah. So the last game was about like pulling ropes, pulling a very heavy rope until it finished. So I want to ask, like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think my thoughts on that would be having a good physique doesn't mean you have a great fitness or you're the fittest person, because appearance can be deceiving sometimes.
Yeah.
To me, is having a strong body or having the best looks can be a good thing, but it also depends on personal opinion, because like you said, the physical 100,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's about how mentally prepared you are.
Okay.
You could be as strong as anyone, but if your mind doesn't push you through all the scenarios that you face, then you're not going to end up at the end. You know, you would give up somewhere, but it's one basic rule, which is never give up. And not a lot of people can have that mindset for a long period of time.
Okay.
They would give up somewhere and somehow. So it's not about how big, how fast you run, how strong you look, but it's all about, yes, I'm strong, but am I mentally strong as well?
Yeah.
So the mental game does play a huge part in every sport or in every life situation, you see. Yeah.
So like sorry. Okay, so in the sport we play hockey, right? So sometimes I go against big guys, and then like I feel like very intimidated lah, because like, their size and all that. So how do you like tackle these kind of situations? Like, you know what? Doesn't mean they're bigger than me, they're better. So like, how do you tell yourself that, and how do you mentally prepare yourself?
I think it's basically in our sport, hockey.
Yeah.
So if the guy is bigger than you, that means he's going to be slower than you.
Okay.
So what you have is speed, and what he has is body size.
Yeah.
So rather than having the fear that, he's big and I don't know how to beat him, how about thinking like, I can use my speed to beat him by going away from him.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like using your strengths.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he has a strength, and you have to face his strength with your own strength. And I think basically to not have the thought about the weakness you face or what weaknesses you have, because he has weaknesses as well.
Yeah, that's true.
So again, it comes to the mental games again.
Yeah.
It's about how confident you are and how prepared you are to face any problems that rise up,
So for those of you who want to become fit, it's not all about like, you need to run, you need to lift, you need to do the certain exercises, but it's also about your mental strength and your determination. So I think that's a really important like a really important factor that we're talking about. It's about mental strength. So on to our next question is there a difference between being fit and being healthy? Since like a lot of people always get this like confusion between being fit and healthy. So what is the difference between the two?
I think you're right. People do get confused between
lot.
the fit factor and the healthy factor. But I think being fit is, again, basically doing daily activities without any hindrances. And being healthy is basically being in a good state of well-being.
Okay.
You got good health without any sickness, anything like that. So you can be fit and healthy at the same time, but doesn't mean everyone who is fit is healthy.
Yeah, that's true.
And doesn't mean people who are healthy are fit. It goes both ways. But it also comes down to many factors, like what you eat, what you do, and what you drink, stuff like that. But yeah, there are many factors that conclude whether, if I'm fit, am I healthy? And it all depends on, as you grow up,
that's true.
how your body goes. You could be the fittest person, but when you hit a certain age, you have a sickness that scares you.
Yeah.
It's always about that. But yeah, you can be as safe as possible, but some things are unexpected.
True. Okay, so like from like this question, right? So, what is the difference between muscular strength and muscular endurance?
So, firstly, muscular strength is how heavy of weights you can lift. I would say even how far distance you can run, how fast you can run, stuff like that. But muscular endurance is basically how those weights that you carry, how long can your body carry it for? How
Right.
long till you get exhausted?
How long you can tahan
Yes,
lah.
basically.
Okay.
And it's the same thing with running. How much of stamina do you have
Right.
to run as fast as you can or as long distance as you can? Like I could be as strong as you, but then maybe you could lift the weights longer than me. Something like
Our
that.
size no lah.
I mean, example, yeah. But yeah, I mean, like stamina wise.
Yeah.
If me and you were to run 10 km, maybe you will be faster than me, but
True.
maybe I could also do the same 10 km as you because we got the same stamina.
Yeah.
But it's just that you're faster than me. So one is strength and one is endurance. Yep.
Okay. So talking about strength and endurance, right? I want to ask for sportsmen, right, especially because they always get the misconception, especially like for young teenagers like us, for young sportsmen like us. We always like get this oh, we need to lift weights, we need to bulk up and all that. But I've been watching like videos recently about plyometrics. It's about being more not aesthetic, more athletic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how, like, do you recommend doing plyometrics more, or do you recommend doing gym, like lifting weights and all that?
I would actually say plyometrics because the fact that when you go to the gym, your body tends to get bigger. It depends on, of course, which muscle you go, but most people go for their upper body.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
it gets bigger. And when you get bigger, especially if you play sports like football, hockey, and stuff like that, you lose your agility here and there because your lower body is the same size and your upper body gets bigger. So as hockey players, you should know that we need to move a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movement in it. So when you start carrying weights and getting bigger, you will start losing your agility. So your upper body tends to become slower.
Yeah.
But stuff like plyometrics is you don't lose that agility side of you. And also the thing is that I wouldn't say not recommend gym at all, but don't have a balance between like at the athletic side, sporting side, and also gym.
Yeah.
You can't have one side being the higher factor because then, like I said, you're gonna lose your agility, and then there are many things which you will start losing your strengths in the sport as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like finding a balance between plyometrics and as well as lifting weights,
Yeah.
lah. Because like lifting weights, as you say, it's about building strength, building muscle, and all that. And I think it's especially important in sports because some sports is very like physical.
Yes.
Yeah, especially like rugby,
Yep.
American football, that
Yep.
kind of sports. Yeah. So for on to the next question, like what are some practical ways to incorporate more physical activity into our busy schedule? Because like Singapore is very our schedule is very, very tight.
Yeah, I think it's basically, personally for me, I don't like running long distance. So or like just running like alone myself. So the thing is that find a sport or something that you really like to do. For someone it could be running, it could be playing golf or whatever. But to me, is find something that you really want to do and you like to do. And at the end of the day, you would find time for it after work hours. Because once you start getting the habit of doing something you like, then you would naturally want to keep on doing it.
Yeah,
and
true.
and it becomes a routine in your life. So, but if you were to find something just to benefit yourself, like just because you want to keep fit, but you don't like doing it, then I would say, personally for me, I would do it for like a week and then I won't continue it after that, But the thing is, if you find something you like to do, a particular sport, maybe after work, after school, your mind will automatically tell you that, hey, go make time for it. Go and call your friends to play with you, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I would say most important thing is finding a sport finding a sport that you like.
So basically, okay. So what if like really really you're super duper busy and then like you need to find like pockets of space to try and do like some exercises or some fitness.
I would say, I think the best thing that someone could do if you really have a tight schedule? I would say when you wake up, maybe a set of 3 different exercises.
Right.
You know, maybe if let's say push-ups, sit-ups, and squats, maybe 30 or 20 each in the morning and right before you sleep.
Okay.
And when you do that, honestly, your body automatically wakes up in the morning.
Yeah, true.
You know, you would have an easier phase throughout the day. And the thing is that, I mean, it might seem that you're doing very little stuff, but it actually benefits you a lot. And especially when you have a routine doing it every morning, every night, you go to work before doing it, and then after that you're back home, before you sleep you're doing it again. You would see the slow change in your body, and when you see change, you get motivated. You start doing more, doing more different stuff, and then you will slowly start saying that, hey, okay, if I keep an hour for myself to do all this would be the benefit. And then, you know, it starts, everything comes into place. Yeah. So there's always a way there. It's just whether you want or you don't want.
Right. Okay. So, like for those of you who want to start out being fit or want to make a change in your body, in your fitness, always look at it as the long run. Don't look at it as like the short term, because for fitness, right, it's a really like a long term project.
Yeah.
For your body. So like don't be too like short. Don't have shortcomings. Always like see the bigger picture and like think far. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Right. Can
Yeah,
become coach.
yeah. I think you can become coach though.
I'm just waiting only for the
Cert, right?
sign up. Okay, so for those who want to start out or who is currently in the pursuit of being fit, right? How do they strike a balance between physical limits and avoiding injury, or like having burnouts?
I think like what you see. Okay, so if you're starting out something new, or you're starting to slowly progress your way into something more serious, some people tend to get misled on, oh, I have to push myself throughout the whole week or the whole time. But they don't understand that their body needs rest as well. You know, sometimes they push over the limit. That's where injuries, burnout comes. So I would say always start slow.
Okay.
You know, if let's say you're doing this particular activity maybe twice a week, maybe you increase it 3 times a week for a month. And then the second month you go 4 times a week. So there has to be a plan and a progress.
Okay.
But the progress has to be a little slow and not too fast.
All right.
Because different people's body handle things in different ways. So maybe for you could do 5 activities in a week without having any problem. But if I did 5, maybe I would burn out.
Yeah.
You know? So it's different. So even if you're having a partner, a friend having the same sport or anything, don't try to match up. Go at your own pace.
Yeah.
And always remember that whatever you're doing, there is a benefit at the end of the day. And you will reach your goal. But it depends on how long it takes. But, we have time. So don't rush things. Slowly progress and get the routine set up in your body. And because if you do it too many times, then one day you get bored of it.
Yeah.
That's where you burn out. You start not going for trainings and all that. Then whatever effort that you put to progress yourself goes down the drain.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And everyone will one day look back and say, oh, how if I did that? How if I did this? The regret is there. So one thing about fitness is, or a sport that you like to do, is never have any regrets.
Okay.
Do things the proper way. Yeah.
And also to add on, right, for let's say sports or like exercising and all that, I know like people like to rush things, and sometimes like when they rush things, they don't do it correctly, which can lead to injuries.
Yes.
Yeah. So what I would recommend is to always like perfect your routine. Always like try to make sure that you're doing it right. When you're lifting weights, make sure you have the right posture. When you're doing an exercise, make sure that you're in the right state. Your body is like warmed up. Oh yes, always do warm-ups, guys. Always do warm-ups and cool downs. Because if you don't, right, you are gonna have like a greater risk of having more injuries. Yeah. So like I know like you've been a coach for how long?
I think it's been about 2 years now.
2 years. Okay. So like, can you share any success stories of individuals who have transformed their lives through fitness? And if it's about you, right, or someone that you know, maybe you can share this to inspire people who are listening, or like our viewers, that anything is possible if we put our mind to it.
So story is actually about me.
Oh, okay.
So when I entered Sec 1,
Okay.
you wouldn't guess this, but I weighed 103 kg.
Serious?
Serious.
No way.
Seriously.
103.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Okay, so at the end of Sec 1, so I would say maybe during the holidays, December,
Yeah.
I weighed 63.5 kg.
You lost
40 kg
in
a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you do that?
Fitness, I guess.
Just through fitness.
Just yeah, and okay, because there was like 3 to 4 trainings a week.
Oh,
Almost
okay.
3 to 4 trainings a week. And then what made me drive was, so the first year I was in tennis, I did not get selected.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because I was not that fit and I was starting out the sport for the first time. But it affected me because I was like, oh, my friends are all playing, and then, why am I not selected? I
Right.
don't have a jersey.
Yeah.
And like how my time used to be more strict. You're not selected means you don't get jersey
Yep.
at all. So then I was like, oh, they get extra training after, like they get to skip class, go for training. They get to skip class, go for games. They got audience watching them play the game. Then I'm there like I only picking up water, like giving them water. So I was like, should I have to do something? But I was already losing weight by that time. But I had to push myself, like I said, I'm not the type of person who runs a lot. So I wouldn't run at home, but I would say I controlled my meals.
Okay.
And then what I did was, during training, I would not king or like call in injured for any training cell. Like how
Right.
bad it was also, I would still endure it. And because, like face value, like I was not the smallest kid. So if I were to call in injured, there is going to be someone who thinks that, it's because he lazy, that's why he call in. We all have that mindset.
God.
So I always had that face value, which like I didn't wanted anyone to think that way. So yeah, at the end of Sec 1, I was 63 kg. Small. I did not know how, but yeah, it was a drastic change.
Was everyone like shocked when they saw you?
Everyone, yeah. And the thing is that like they saw the change slowly, but those people who hadn't seen me, like family members who hadn't seen me for a year, they were shook. Like they were shook. So I was like, oh, okay. This is quite, like the feeling is nice, And then after that, I became like I became in the starting 11.
Yeah.
Then I realized that, this is a huge achievement for me. Like it really drove, like me not getting selected really drove me to push myself, to promise myself that I don't want to have the feeling of not getting selected again.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then one thing led to another. Hockey became better, and from a player now I'm a coach. I mean, I am still a player.
Still a player.
But yeah, now I'm coaching, and that's why I would say one thing that my coach didn't do on me was judging me on the way I look.
Oh.
I mean, in a way, he accepted me like during the trials.
Okay.
I mean, he could have said this kid is like big size, he's not going to this one, and don't select me, right? If I was not given an opportunity that day, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
In this situation right now. So it's always about giving someone a chance. So it is not impossible to lose a ton of weight, or it's not impossible to reach your goal. It's just how patient you are and how determined you are to reach your goal.
Right.
Yeah, it's really at the end of the day that.
Okay.
So yeah, I think everyone has to know that having the best mental strength to push yourself will bring you to anywhere you want. The sky's the limit. That's all.
Wow. Okay. That is very inspirational, Kishon. Thank you so much. But before we end, I have one more question. Okay, so for our fellow Muslim athletes or potential people who want to start out with fitness, especially like during Ramadan, right, when they cannot like eat or drink during the day. So how do we go about with eating? Eating pula. Go about with their exercises or their daily fitness and all that.
I think basically Ramadan is something like intermittent fasting.
Okay.
So I would say, you fast the whole day, and then you end up having, when you break fast, you end up having a huge meal.
Yeah.
But the thing is that it's late at night, and
True.
it's it's about doing that. Like you can't do whatever activities you want to do straight away, because of like you will end up vomiting out your food and stuff like that. So I would say maybe if you can choose your own activities and do it at your own time, I would say maybe do it early in the morning before eating breakfast, because you've had your big meal during dinner, and that meal would preferably digest and be your energy that morning.
Okay.
So it's about like the correct time. And I would say another thing is dates. Y'all do eat a lot of dates during like after like breaking fast in the morning and all, right? And dates are like energy. So it's like the food version of Red Bull. So I think if let's say I think so many times during league games, like in the hockey league games, when the games are in the evening, they stop the time for players to break fast. And I've seen a lot of Muslim players eat dates. Like, in that short time they have, drink some water and get back in the pitch and play.
Right.
And they do still have the energy to last for it. So I think having food stuff like that gives you that extra energy boost to keep you like alive for that, moment of activity you're doing. And but don't push yourself too much.
Yeah, okay.
Because you also have, everyone's body work in a different way. So you also got to take care of yourself at the same time because, of course, you hadn't had proper meal the whole day, no water and all that stuff like that.
So like, okay, for those who have trainings in the afternoon, right? Like let's say for secondary school kids who have trainings and all that, how do they go about with their training sessions and how do they like control themselves?
I think, okay, firstly, it's about willpower. I do see some kids really breaking their fast because they cannot take it anymore. And sometimes it's because of the weather. Yeah. And I think we coaches also understand that during the fasting period, we do give them a lot of breaks. Get them to go in the shade, wash their face and all that. Because, they are human too and we are also human too. We can't push them too much because and they're kids. Yeah. Something might happen to them. But I would say, if you really cannot take it, don't push yourself for it, Or either that, like in training, take it easy. Don't have to be the fastest player or stuff like that. And when you want a break during, Ramadan session, just go up to your coach and just, like ask him, coach, can I have a break? Like I'm actually really, really tired. My mouth is really dry. I just want to go to the toilet. But some players are scared. Yeah. So don't be scared at this time period. Of course, if it's other time period where like it's like you're having water breaks and all, it's not Ramadan, of course don't go and ask for a break lah. You're just gonna piss him off even more and get yourself into trouble. But like time periods like that, we coaches do understand. Yeah. Like there is a risk of something happening to these kids. And we gotta avoid that. So so don't be scared to ask for a break, ask for a breather and stuff like that.
Okay. So thank you so much, Kishon, for sharing what it means to be fit. And I think that it's been very insightful, alhamdulillah. Thank you so much for coming down to our podcast. I think it's like very beneficial for us here and our audience as well. Before we end this episode, do you want to share with us your social handles? So if anybody wants to reach out to you or like ask you about anything, they can easily contact you.
Time for me to be popular. Okay, guys, if you got any questions, I think y'all can drop me a DM at KISHON_SH20. That's my Instagram. Any question about fitness or anything like that, just drop me a message and I'll try my best to get back to y'all. And lastly, determination and willpower. All right, in whatever journey y'all start, whether it's fitness or life. And Adri, thanks for having me here.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure and great questions. Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to the Halal Travel Podcast on this episode of What It Means to Be Fit. Do catch our previous episode if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye. Take care.
Alright guys, thanks for listening. So we'll see you on the next episode. Don't forget to give us a shout out on anchor.fm/The Halal Travel Podcast. Your voice message could be featured in our next episode.
Yep, and if you have any advertising and collaboration opportunities, contact us at info@halaltrip.com. That's info@halaltrip.com.
Also, don't forget to follow us on our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Halal Trip. We're also now on Telegram and TikTok. Until next time, get inspired, go and inspire others.